It's just dispatching something. Exactly.
Okay. It's a moedike geschmack sicha. And dafka not a moedike sicha. And it's the end of the parsha, the story about Mlchamas Amolek. All the way at the end of the parsha. If it's in the
relevant to the war.
Oh, Thursday. Yes. Relevant to the war that's going on right now.
I'm speaking. We have to get rid of Amalek.
He says that?
Yeah, many times. In the speeches now, these days.
It's he speaks so well.
Yeah.
He
should learn something.
Yeah.
Well, he said this morning, the Rosh Hashanah, not the Rosh Hashiva. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his kids, some of his kids are from.
Yeah.
He also on Friday night, he sit down by the table, he read the parsha. Very nice. For this. We go to the phone, the next room, and call, whoever. But all right. For a couple of minutes, he sit down, put the Yamulke, make Kiddush, and every Friday night.
Every Friday night?
Yeah, it's like a show. Like, respect. Put the Yamulke, make Kiddush, read some Chumash, have like the dinner, and then he'll go next door on the phone and do what's to do.
No, baby. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. Page Kuf Lamed Vav, it's in Parshas Beshallach. The last story in the Parsha. Vayovi Amalek. Page Kuf Lamed Vav, if you're in the same book as I have, we all have the same book here. Page Kuf Lamed Vav, Vayovi Amalek, Vayocham im Yisrael Barifidim. He came and he made a war against the Jews. Rashi says, I want to read all the Rashis pretty quickly, but there's a lot going on tonight. In the previous pasuk it says that the Yidden asked, Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu imoyin, is the Eibishter present? You asked such a question. I will let the dog come bite you. Now you're going to really scream. Marshal Adam Shirk of Nelk Safer Gatsaladera, Hoyo is a Ben Roy Hefet Vime, Abatoil Hefet Zevetain, who knows like the Ken Shanis, the Ken Schlises, Foggy, Bodamech, Amerlo, Yoisa Ben, Yisas Abba, Amerlo, Enka Yade, Haken, only his Schliche me alone, Boakalach Venosh. The kid played a game, he's asking, where's my father? So the father said, you just. You know what? He put him down, and the dog came and bit him. So the Yidden asked, "Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu?" They said, "You know what? Let's see if I put you down for a minute, what's going to happen?" What happened? Vayovi Amalek Vayocham im Yisrael b'rifidim. Vayomer Moshe al Yeshua bechar lonu anosh. Pick men. V'tzevi hilochem ba'Amalek and go out to have the war with Amalek. Machor.
Which one was this?
Exactly. We had the other day.
Right.
Which I'm going to stand on the top of the Giva of the hill. Umata lekim biyodi, and the Eibishter's mata will be in my hand. Yas Yeshua kasher Amar Eloi Moshe lilochem Amalek. Yeshua did as he was told to fight with Amalek. Moshe v'Aaron v'chur ol Giva. They went up to the top of the hill. V'hoya kasher Moshe yoda v'gover Yisrael. When Yeshua would pick up his hands, the Jews would win. If his hands would drop, the governor Amalek would win. His hands get very heavy. They put a rock under it. And he was able to put his hand on the rock. Aaron and Hur helped hold his hands. And his hands were spread out to the sky at Boya Shemesh until the Shemesh set. He made them weak with the sword. Hashem el Moshe. Eibishter said, "Saves them zikaron b'sefer. Write it in the sefer of symbols in Yeshua kemochev chazecher molek matachas shamayim. Even the mizbeach v'ikush masham nisi v'ayom ki yod al kes yoch necham al Hashem la'amalek midordor." Yes. Now let's go back to Kuf Lamed Vav and do the Rashis. Again, let's try to do it as quick as possible, although this Rashi is the main Rashi we're dealing with. the next four Rashis. Bechar lonu. Rashi says, what do you mean Bechar lonu? Pick for us. Should say Bechar li. Leave Eloch. Hishva oloi. Yeshua and Moshe are the same. Mikan Amra Chachamim Yikvoit Tamid Achav V'Alach Kishalach. You're the kavod of your Talmud should be as dear to you as your own kavod. And then kavod Chavedach should be Kamoida Shemayim. Menaim, how do we know that? Shenemar Vayomer Aaron Allah Moshe Bi Adoini. V'Loi Aaron Gadol Meyachav. Aaron was bigger than his brother. V'Oises Chave Evei Kerabai. And he made his chaver, which is his younger brother, like his Rebbe, because Aaron said to Moshe, "Be Adoni." How do we know that? That when there were people, there were elders of Meid that were saying that Moshe Rabbeinu was going to be nostalgic, and he won't take the Eden into Eretz Yisrael, rather Yeshua. So Yeshua said, "Adoni Moshe Kaloim, Kalim in Olam, Chayavim in Kliya, Amardim Bach, Hilamard Bakadosh Baruch." Then say ve'lolachem, say min honor. Ve'lolachem, go out of the. What does it mean? Say go out from the honor. Mocher beis malcham anochi nitzav. Karlan anoshim gebodim v'yirichet. Yeah, go out to the anani yakobit. Yeah, say min honor ve'lolachem. Mocher beis malcham anochi nitzav.
Wait, if you're being attacked, stay in the anani yakobit. That's just
right.
Who Amalek came to fight with? The Jew people that was outside the Arab route. From what I understand.
Okay. But the Jews. The Jews.
100%.
That they're Geboidim, that's Pshat Anoshim, and Yirechet. Shechusim Mesayota. The Veracha Bechar Lonu Anoshim, Sheyodim Lavachtel Kshof, and the Fish of Amalek Mechash Renoyim. These are the four main Rashis that we're going to deal with, but let's quickly go through a few more Rashis. Moshe Aaron Bechur, Mekan Latayna should slay Shloishel, Avar Lefnei Atevish, Betayna say Shulim, Chur is Benosh Shalminium, the call of Baila, Besher Yorim Moshe. Okay, keep this Rashi for a minute. Yidei Moshe Kveda, Meshul Shenis Atzel of Mitzvah, Min Achatachtav, Nesiakar V'Yodav, was a punishment because it was Nesatzel of a Mitzvah. Vayikach Aaron Bechur, Even V'Simatachtav, Ala Yoshev, like Arkada V'Keses, Amar Moshe, Omar Yisrael, Shurim Betzar, Afaniyim, Emoim Betzar. Yodav Emuna v'yi Moshe Yodav be'emuna Peruses Hashemayim betfila and Amona Nachayna be'Hashem b'shoy Amalekim. What is the pshat? Be'Hashem b'shoy Amalekim mechashron es Hashoy es be'itzta relugia be'ez Hashoyim noitzchim ve'emet lahem Moshe chama ve'irve v'zachos. So they couldn't figure out how to come to the Netzochet. V'yachlu Yeshua chotach roishe geboyer v'lehishir elach haloshim. A lot of them kulam mekan on olamedim shasa piyadi b'shishchina.
God that I had ordered from Uranus. Usually,
How do you see it was Piyadiver?
Because why didn't they kill all of them? If you kill the strong ones, you left the weak ones. If you kill the weak ones,
Right.
if you kill the weak ones, Kashtei, you didn't get a chance to kill the strong ones. When you kill the strong ones and leave the weak ones.
Doing the war now in Gaza. Keep all of them. Don't leave none.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Some of the other Rashis are a little negay, but let's focus on the four Rashis that we're doing tonight from the Rebbe, which is the Rashi Bachar Lonu, Letzei Helochem, Mochen, and Bachar Lonu Anosh. The Rebbe asks later 10 questions, and all of them are quite simple, straightforward questions. The start is the Rashi answers, and you could say that a Talmud is as choshev to Rebbe like the Rebbe himself. But why is it negay in this pasuk? Moshe Rabbeinu is picking Yeshua, and Yeshua is picking people to go on war as a shlichus Moshe. Why is it important over here to say it? And Bachlal Rashi goes on a tangent to say about the kavod of the Talmud, the kavod of the Kaver, the kavod of the Rav. All of a sudden, Rashi is like going into saying a drush. He already mentioned the Mishnah from Pirkei Avos, so he's already on a roll. So he'll bring already talking about kavod of your Talmud. We'll talk about the kavod of the Yechaver. We're already talking about the kavod of the Yechaver. We'll talk about the kavod of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Yeah, what was it?
It's not.
It wasn't a gay over here. How's it going to help us in this pasuk? And then weiter, Rashi's bothered with Sevi Lochem. The Pashtus, what's bothering Rashi? He says, say mina on. Because why do you have to go out? Who would say? Where are you? If the Amalek is standing here, why would you say tzei? Obviously, he's outside somewhere.
He didn't come into the.
Elamai didn't come into the honor. The Rebbe says in Pshat, even a child can ask his Rebbe a shayla. Maybe a child, but Mamash and Chumash won't. But maybe if he learned Chumash last year and he already learned the Pash Keseitza Malchama Aloivech, so he could already ask. Tzei doesn't always mean physically. There's a matzav shel shalom and a matzav shel melchama. When we say Keseitza Malchama Aloivech, does it have to mean that you're traveling from here to there? And if the enemy came here, you shouldn't fight with him. You're going out into a matzav. You're going into a matzav, to mission. So when the pasuk says here, and that there was a war, and now maybe it means same in matzav shel shalom. Rashi is saying a big chiddush, which is involved the other Rashis. That the Rashi said that all the Yidden that were in the Onim were protected. The Yidden that were outside the Onim because they were Baalei Aveda, so they got spit out from outside the Onim. Those are the Yidden that Amalek came to fight, and we learn a beautiful Iran of Hashem. All of this starts because in Pshuta Shemikra, Rashi is trying to understand what's tzei. Why can't you say like you say tzei l'malchama? And Rashi also adds v'ilochem boy. Same in Onam. Again, same in Onam. What's the V'ilochem boy? And especially the pasuk says V'ilochem ba'amalek, and actually it's V'ilochem boy.
Is the difference if you make a war in your country or you go out to the other place to make a war?
Yeah, you always want to go out to the other place. Right. You never want to have it here.
Right.
You never want to have it here.
I don't know, it's home turf territory.
Huh?
Like home turf, you're okay. Yeah.
That's MS. Amol, you want to have it. There is sometimes in the strategy of war that you want to bring in the enemy to a place where you know.
Israel is so small. No matter you don't want nobody.
There's another Rashi. Another Rashi is Mocher. Another Rashi is Mocher. Be'esem Melchama Anochi Nitzav. So, like, what's Rashi trying to say over here? And then, what's Shver? Yeah, what's
not now.
Yeah,
you go out now, but tomorrow.
What is Rashi trying to say so much?
You tell Yeshua, go out from the cloud now, but tomorrow come to
right.
See.
Yeah.
What's going to be now?
What's yeah? And then he says, Rashi says, Geborim v'yirei. It's page Kuflamet Zayin in the booklet of Chitas. Rashi says, Geborim v'yirei. Why does he say both? The truth is in the Mechilta, there's a Machloikis. The Yeshua said, Noshim Geborim. Rabbi Lazar says, Yirei. Rashi decided that both are true. Why?
And he said right away the reason. So
the emphasis is why does Rashi say Rashi could have said Poshet, because we said before that the people said so if these people can't be part of the war, they were part of the problem. They can be part of the solution. They caused the problem. But Rashi, that's not what Rashi is saying. Rashi is saying Psananda Zach. What is Punkt Rashi trying to say? And why does Rashi need a second Pirush? If the first Pirush is good, why does Rashi say a Dover Acher? It's a funny pshat. How do we see in the word Anoshim? What does Anoshim mean? Lavatal Pshofim. So, and like the Rebbe's Mahalach in general, if Rashi needs two pshatim, you know you're in trouble. And the general gist is that the first pshat is better in Pshuta Shamikra, but there's a problem with the first pshat, you need a second pshat. And second pshat also is a problem, so you still need to have the first pshat. Okay. So Nakuda of the Rebbe's view is that Takazoi, what's bothering Rashi is not only how L'choida Moshe Rabbeinu is calling Yeshua, he should be his shliach. So why does he saying shlach lon? So Rashi is saying the reason is because a person has unbelievable chavivas to a Talmud. So even though it really doesn't make sense, it's all Yeshua. Yeshua is only a shliach to Moshe Rabbeinu. Not just how could you say it. He's a shliach of Moshe Rabbeinu. So the answer is, even though he's a shliach of Moshe Rabbeinu, but there's unbelievable chavivas that a person has to his Talmud, and there's a way that the person talks to his Talmud because of the chavivas that he has to his Talmud. So how big is the chavivas to a Talmud? Unbelievable. He covered Beshallach. So a child is going to say, wait a minute. If the kavod of a Talmud is so big, so then it's not good.
It's equal the Rov and
So tazoi. So therefore, the rest of Rashi is just trying to show that, and you know what, and the kavod of a chavod is even more, and the kavod of a rebbe is even more. Otherwise, the child says, you picked up the kavod of a Talmud, and then so where's going to be the kavod of the chavod? Where's going to be the kavod of the Rav? In other words, is the respect that Moshe Rabbeinu gives to Yeshua and Aaron is all the same? So he says, no, Taka, the kavod that Moshe Rabbeinu gives to Yeshua is moedik. But you should know that the kavod that Aaron gives to Moshe, which is even a chavod, is even more. And the kavod that a person is supposed to give as an Abba is mamish kamoed shamayim. So he's showing him that the Talmud. Yeah. Otherwise, you're saying that the kavod Talmud is very big, but you have to say that everyone's kavod goes up. Otherwise, so you picked up the Talmud to a high level of kavod. But that should be okay. So after Rashi explains that, he's going back to the pasuk. Rashi says, "Say loch." Usually, you could say like say means go out from the matzav of shalom and go to a mlchama. Here you can't say that. It's impossible. Why? It was already a mlchama happening. The mlchama was already started. They're already fighting. When the Yidden initiate a war, you'd say that there's a mitzvah. You will decide to declare war. Could be, the enemy has bad intentions. You're not stamazoi. The Jews are not stamazoi declaring war, but
Expand the borders.
they wanted to expand borders. Exactly. Like David Amelech. There could be a lot of reasons. Yidden decided to declare war. So there's a matzav. And then they're yoitzim and matzav shel shalom to go into matzav shel malchama. Here, they're already in the middle of a malchama. The Arabs, Rahman al-Islam, are standing here in the Yeshuvim, and they're fighting. Now you're going to say, what do you mean say? We're in the middle of a war anyway.
take them out.
Take them out, exactly. So Rashi Zogin that the enemies could not go into the honor, because all the Yidden that were tzaddikim were protected of the honor. Only the Nechah Shalom, the Shvachi Yidden, that the Onan pushed them out. Those are being killed and being hurt by Amalek. And that's a pshat. Say mina Onam v'lochem boy. Why is it Rashi Medaik boy? Because later he's going to say, in order to fight with Amalek, you need people with special qualifications. And they have there has to be Yirechet, Geboidim, Yodim Lavatal Kishiv. They have to be special people. So he's saying Legabe going out of the Onon. That's nothing to do with over there. You don't need special qualifications. Say Vilochem boy. That's a minion of a Mulchama, even if theoretically it wasn't Amalek, it was someone else. In order to in the Onon, Adnushka can zayin Mulchama. The Eden were protected. True, it happened to be this time the enemy was Amalek, but Rashi's medayik in every word by Rashi was gold. That's what Rashi says. Say v'hilochem boy, mitzad the Onan Yidden were protected. It didn't matter who the enemy was, Amalek or someone else. In order to have an enemy, it was only for a Yid that was thrown out of the Onan. So to have war, you have to be say v'hilochem boy. Oh, now let's talk about who's qualified. He said they should pick special people. When we say anoshim means special people. We see like a lot of psukim where
it says anoshim.
Anoshim. Usually when we say anoshim,
Special.
right? Exactly. Very good. Sorry, I missed one ashi. Moche beisa malchama. Very important. The Rebbe says that Rashi is very bothered by a very important shaila. What it says in Yumi, Isa ben Yehudi Omer, Hamish Mikros betoida ein la machreya. Ve'echem mehem u'mocher. In this pasuk, what's the pshat when it says in the pasuk, mocher is the pshat say ve'lochem ba'molek mocher, or is the pshat say ve'lochem ba'molek hayoim?
Now.
The
war's already going on. Why would you wait till tomorrow?
As I said, Rashi is bothered. In the Gemara, you could say two ways.
Would you put
and Rashi Itaki says over there, if you say one way of saying it, say v'ilochem amalek miyad.
If you look at
the
Trump indicates that.
1 second. Rashi says why? Rashi says because you don't have to have say v'ilochem amalek v'ayom yat tzorich l'tfilosi. Today you don't need to have my tefillah. So what did you say that the Torah goes that way?
The word Amalek, it's a yeah, that there's a like what we'll call a semicolon by
right here. Right.
Coming to a stop in the pasuk.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. So Rashi wants to say that say like the other way in the pshat that say v'ilochem b'amalek immediately ASAP.
Right.
You
go out now.
You go fight right now. What do you mean?
What's going to be tomorrow?
Why? Because in pshat, what do you mean? They're killing Jews. He's telling him, Beshallach, have supper. What you have for supper? I don't know, franks. Then have dessert. Go to sleep. Tomorrow, daven shachris, have breakfast. Then you're going to go out to the war. But he's not being killed right now. So therefore, in pshat, it makes more sense.
I'm sure Ben will be going out tomorrow for davening. He should be davening today.
Good question. So the emes is a very good question. So Rashi doesn't want to be stuck with your question. So help the Eivishter that we learned last week. This the Rashi yesh mocher shel v'yesh mocher shel achas man. The Rebbe says that Ken Zayin Efsher can sagen in Rashi the pshat. The Rashi wants to say he wants to make clear. Say v'alochem amalek right away. Mocher be'isa melchama anoichi nitzav. Tomorrow by the melchama I will be nitzav. That mocher is going for later in the pasuk. The Rebbe says could be according to Rashi. Mocher doesn't mean tomorrow 24 hours. Mocher means yesh mocher shoachshav. He meant to say like this. Say lochem ba'amalek asap. As soon as I see that you're fighting, I'm going to stand b'rosh hagiva and pick up my hands and be mispalel. So he didn't mean mocher in 24 hours. Even though in the Gemara learns that that's the pshat. The pshat is that say hilochem achshav. Mocher, I'm going to go. Why? Rashi says hayom yat tzarich l'tfilosi. Why would you not need my tefillah today? So there's a few pshatim. One pshat, help the Eibishter today. We had an upshernish, and they told me that they're Belzach Siddim. How do I know the Belzach Siddim? Because Rabbi Reuben is comments again to the upshernish, and Rabbi Reuben and the Chaneinikol from the Divrei Chaim help the Eibishter. There's a pshat in a sefer that was written by Einikol for the Divrei Chaim, and he also wrote the Toidas from the Belzer Rebbe, Bisoch. So he says, Alanga Toilet from Tofresh Pei 1985 from Purim. But in Akuda, it's a little bit drush, but it's nice. He says there's Hayoim Moch Mish Moch Shel Achazman that there is that he was mispalo for the Yidden that the Muhammad Amalek is going to be Medor. It's going to be many generations. So Mordechai and Esther, they had 2 days that they were fighting with the Amalek, descendants of Amalek, Amon's descendants. It was Yud Gimel and Yud Aleph. On Yud Gimel, he was meramas. You don't need the tefillah. Why? Because that was the Yom HaKeholah Shel Klal Yisrael, and the schus of Klal Yisrael is very strong. So you don't need tefillah Moshe Rabbeinu. But on the second day, which was only Yehudim Asher B'Shusha Nikalu, so you need an extra schus, the extra tefillah of Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Remes said the Risochadov Bell says that there is a mold when the whole Klal Yisrael has a mold. And then, in a way, you don't need tefillas Moshe Rabbeinu because it's a tzoras rabbin.
And Amalek in this week's parsha
is also
using that idea that
right. Okay, you're asking Akasha.
No, it doesn't exactly.
Right.
That Mahalik doesn't fit this parsha, this Indian.
So exactly. He says that when do you really need? When it's a private person's fighting with a Amalek, then he needs to have. So he says that's why Yeshua understood that he shouldn't kill all of them, because he was merames that there's still going to be another war. He was merames that there's going to be another war, and one day of the war you won't need to have the tefillah, and the other day you will need to have the tefillah. So he understood this is not this war. He's talking about a different war. So if he's going to kill everyone, how is there going to be another war? So from them, how did he? Rashi says later that he killed only the Giborim, not the Kalosh. Doesn't make sense. How come? Because he did it al pi dibur. So the Belzer Rebbe gesagt, where was the dibur? Where did he know the dibur? Because he was told mocher. Mocher means yesh mocher shalach zman. That there's going to be a mocher lach zman. This is drush.
Leave
a few Amalekim because it's still going to be.
Will not apply this Manaseh.
Hallelujah.
And I'm afraid that some people feel that way, but
and then he has a whole beautiful word about Yeshua ben Nun's Mashiach ben Yosef. That's why Yeshua ben Nun he's the first one that has to fight. Why did Moshe ben Nun? Because Yeshua and Yeshua is the union of Adar and Moshe ben is the union of Nisan, and that's why there's Yoras and Mukafas Chaim Yeshua ben Nun, because it starts in the koyach of Yeshua, which is Mashiach ben Yosef, because he's in the descendants of Yosef. This is the Nakud of his Torah.
And he's the one that brings the next word.
Yeah. Let me finish just reading his Torah because he's a tzaddik. Ken Yazer Hashem Yisborach Sheniska b'mheira l'machias ha'molek l'gula shlema b'mheira b'yimeinu amen.
Amen.
So Taka, it's a little drushi, but you see why Rashi might not be so happy to learn such a pshat. So Rashi, the Rebbe says, could be that, first of all, it seems that Rashi learns Tzevi lochem ha'molek Esa. Miyad. Mocher anoich nitzav arosh agiva. That's what Rashi is trying to say. Mocher beisa malchom anoich nitzav. But the Rebbe says, Ken zayin nochmer, that you already learned from Rashi, that Rashi says, Yesh mocher ch'achshav.
What you're saying, when you read Rashi again, at the time of the Mlchama is already going on, so that
right, that's what it
doesn't mean mocher.
It doesn't mean mocher. Yeah, that's what the Rebbe says. He meant mocher beisa malchom in 5 minutes. You go grab couple of soldiers that are begeder anoshim, and as soon as you start fighting, you're going to look up at Rosh Hagiv and you'll see I'm already standing there.
If the word said "B'tzem machar lachem," then it will be okay. He didn't say "B'tzem machar lachem." Say lachem, and then he said more.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's a
little bit. He also, like he said, it's not only it's true. He didn't say "Tzei v'lochem mocher ba'molek," but he said "Tzei v'lochem ba'molek" and then mocher anoich nitzav. Okay. Rashi says, "B'char lonu anoshim, geborim b'yirei." Why? Because anoshim, the derech klal, anoshim is a toyer from like someone just said. B'char lonu. So b'char lonu anoshim means. So Rashi says, why does it have to be two people? Geborim b'yirei. Because we just said that he because the chavivus of his Talmud, he took him into the deal. There's Lonu, there's for you and for me. Kilu, we both have a chelik in this mission. So Moshe Rabbeinu's chelik was the tefillah, and Yeshua's chelik was the Melchama Shabazeh. So because he said Bachar Lonu Anoshim, it was Mistaba Terashi. Anoshim is chshivas. They stand out in something. What do they stand out? So Keneged Yeshua, whose job is to take a sword and kill people. So you need Gebordim. I can now get the Moshe Rabbeinu who's going to be Mispalal. We need Yirei Chet. That these why do we need Yirei Chet? Because Shetehei Zechus Misayoton. Now that we said Lonu, that we brought in Moshe and Yeshua, it's Mistaber Terashi that Anoshim doesn't only mean one qualification. There's two qualifications. What should be the two qualifications? Keneged Yeshua was being Loichem. They should be Gebordim. Keneged Moshe Rabbeinu who was being Mispal should be Yirei Chet. But fourth bothered Rashi a little bit. When you're going to go to war, you need Geboidim. He has to tell him Tanai. So this is a Greisa Kasha. A bistel bothered is Rashi. A little bit it's bothering Rashi. So and another thing that bothers a little bit Rashi, we said later that these people were big mechashvim, and that's how they knew. Moshe Rabbeinu finally figured out that he's gonna, with his hands, that he moved around over there, the constellations and the shoas. So even though they knew how to do kishuv, but because he moved around with his hands,
the time was messed
so
up.
everything was messed up. They thought that they put a timer on the Sivot when there will be a lot of Yidden over there davening. Last week on Sunday was Nazgala, that they had that
rockets was
rockets, and there was already on a timer. It was already on a timer that was supposed to go out. So these people had already all timers and all their kishuf. And Moshe Rabbeinu, so the kid is going to ask, what was it helping us coming geboidem yirechit? Maybe yirechit, but geboidem, but they're mechashvim. So their koich is from kishuf. So therefore Rashi says Dover Acher
Moshe's
that betake, that Anoshim means that Anoshim sheyedim lavatel kshofim lefnish lebnei Amalek mechashvin oya. But for it, the Rashi takes it as a second shot. Why? Because we don't find in Pshuta Shemikra, Anoshim usually means Geboidem. Or Yirechet. It means Anoshim Shal Tzura. It means Anoshim Shal Tzura. Hashem Ish Melchama. Vayikchu Ish Charboi. Usually when we say, like, Maraglim, Kulam Anoshim, Anshe, that we usually, Roshem Ne Yisrael Aima. Usually when we say Anoshim, it means either Geboidem or Yirechet or both. But to say that Anoshim means Sheyodim Lavato Kishev, Ein Loi, Ach Vereya B'Mikra. So therefore Rashi says it's a Dover Acher. So everything is Miyushev in the Pshat. Now the Drush that the Rebbe has, the Yena Shal Torah. I'm telling you, I cannot believe it.
our days.
It's to do not stam our days. The Rebbe asks Akasha, Rashi says that Moshe Rabbeinu was punished. Chazal said Moshe Rabbeinu was punished. Why was Moshe Rabbeinu punished? Why? That B'shvil shenisatzel b'mitzvah. Mina achar tachtav. What did he do? He was lazy. He went to eat a cheese Danish, and he didn't go eat a cheese Danish. He was, the Zoya says, that Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Ano azmin garmi lahu korova d'liyela." That Moshe Rabbeinu said that I know how to be mispal better than anyone knows. Going out to war, Yeshua could also do. But Yeshua cannot be mispal like I could be mispal. He didn't sit and chew a coffee and a cake. He was standing there with the Eden. So why was he punished? What was his punishment? That his hands got weak. Usually is midah connected midah. With his hands, he was not doing bad things with his hands. He was being mispal with his hands. He was moving his hands. It's get done. So why was he punished with his hands? So the Rebbe says the pshat, unbelievable pshat. I have to read it inside. The Rebbe says the inyan is azoy. That what happens? Mishlok yidi. So when you see that someone's hitting another yid, there's only one thing to do. Poshet aroizgen und schlagen sich mit der Hand. If you see that they're hitting another Jew, you have to go out.
Moshe Rabbeinu did on his tribe already.
You have to go.
Why did he change course by Amalek?
And Afghan schlagen mit der Hand. If someone doesn't know, go
down.
He got like someone in our shul. He thought he's get right away after some last time he called up his superior in Sahal at Gemeint. He's going on a plane tomorrow.
You could stay there.
You can stay.
You are doing it.
We don't need you.
You are doing it.
We don't need you. Why? Because that's
a serious war now.
Still on the PTSD.
Huh?
He's still on the PTSD train from the previous one.
Exactly. They understand that quite good and well. So they told him he could be in standby. So they're more Ayidav Zam Tehillim. So but
do something.
Do something. Then Efna Tehillim, Efna Gemara.
And by Moshe Rabbeinu?
But Moshe Rabbeinu should have known better. Why? Because already it just happened by Kiyas Yamsov that the Eibusha said, "Ma titzak alai." Daber of Yisrael v'Yisrael. Rashi says, "Show you Moshe Eimed the Mispalam." Kadosh Baruch Hu lo yata eis laharich betfilah. Yisrael netzunim betzara. So Yisrael netzunim betzara v'atam Eimed the Mispalam. Daber of Yisrael v'Yisrael. So from this he should have learned. Gam apichsidis and the atam tachirishim means batika talya miltza. That it's higher than your tefillah, it's something much higher. Like upon him, the pshat is that David said already once to him, now is not the time for tefillah. So now that there was Rahman al going in, so even though Moshe was right, his tefillah, there's nothing as good as tefillah Moshe Rabbeinu. No one knows how to daven like Moshe Rabbeinu. Chazal call it tefillah Oshir, the Chazal of Mafli, the tefillah Moshe Rabbeinu, Pashtas, who could talk to the Eibush as good as Moshe Rabbeinu? As we see in all the psukim, that Moshe Rabbeinu always wins whenever the conversation goes, Moshe Rabbeinu wins. So Moshe Rabbeinu has the best koyach of tefillah. Still, he got an oynish. What was the midah connected midah? Bevel gedacht schlagen the goyim mit the hand. Well, gedacht schlagen the goyim mit the hand. That's you have to read it in Yiddish. Poshut schlagen the goyim mit the hand.
Not
So
like
because-
not like how we killed the Egyptian with a wood.
Yeah, that's it. I will gedacht poshut schlagen the goyim mit the hand. So because he miscalculated and he gave it over to Yeshua. And Mistake, it wasn't chas v'sholom that he was misatzel. Lagamri was, but in the mitzvah zu, you see that right now they're hitting a yid. If we push it, shlogim the goyim with the hand. So therefore, midah keneged midah, and the siakru yoda, that his hands got heavy. I don't know. To me, this is like a very, very powerful word. To move him again, push it like me and you.
Moshe was a gibor also, right? He says that
Yeah, because Moshe Rabbeinu was a gibur.
it was a tool and the stick was there.
Right.
They jumped-
Moshe
they
Rabbeinu was a
jumped
gibur.
down.
Wasn't the Rebbe involved also in underground activities in Russia?
So there's a lot of stories that his mother wrote that are in when they published her memoirs of Sapella that they found it or whatever. That Taka showed that unbelievable things about the Rebbe that no one ever knew. But this is just an unbelievable thing. Well, it's like a dav shlogim with the goyim with the hand. So the Rebbe said in this Sicha, at the end of the Sicha, the Rebbe cried a lot. It's unbelievable Sicha.
What year was that?
Tavshin Lamed,
That's
1970. So the Rebbe said twice. The Rebbe spoke this story. The Rebbe said twice. Once in Parshas Boy 19 Tavshin Nun Beis, one of the last Sichas we ever heard, and once he said twice. The Rebbe said the story. The Rebbe said the story like this. The Gemara says that Mashiach is sitting in Roimi, and there's a lot of Mitzaroim, and the Mitzaroim, how do you know who's Mashiach? Because every one of the Mitzaroim, they take off their bandage, and they wipe off their pus, and then they put back the bandage. But one person is a Yoitzim Akwal. He takes off only one bandage at a time, he cleans out the pus, and he puts back the bandage, and he doesn't take all the bandages off at once. Why? Because that's Mashiach. Because Mashiach is hoping that every minute, so he says, I'm going to be busy after 3 bandages to tie up. He doesn't want to be busy to tie up 3 bandages. So therefore, he takes
ready.
off one,
Ready.
he's ready. So if you have one bandage at a time, what's what the Gemara says?
What's the meaning of that exactly?
Oh, what's the meaning of that? So the Rebbe says the meaning is literally. Why? Because Mashiach is in Ima Enochi B'tzara. Just like the Eibishter feels the pain of the Yidden, Mashiach has to feel the pain of the Yidden. So the Rebbe says, what do you mean the pain of the Yidden? Alter Rebbe says in Torah Oir that the pain of a Yidden Golus is that he doesn't understand the Kal V'chomer. The Kal V'chomer B'chomer B'lveinim, V'chomer the Kal V'chomer B'lveinim the Liban Hilchasa. So the Rebbe says, but there are Yidden that don't know this Maimer and Torah Oir.
I'm not familiar with the Kavachomer.
There's a Maimer Azoyer that says that the Yidden work B'chomer B'lveinim. The Zoyer says B'chomer do Kal V'chomer. And B'lveinim do Liban Hilchasa. So the Rebbe said that the pshat is based on the Likutei Torah that when a Yid has a gzeira on him against him that he should have a difficult life, so he could do a trick instead of Taka really having a difficult life. He opens a Gemara and tries to understand the Kal V'chomer. It's crazy, and he's getting so aggravated. I can't understand the Kal V'chomer, and I'm trying to be malab in the Hilchas. He's getting so aggravated. So instead of having a real aggravation, Achmon Litzlan running to Mount Sinai to hospital because he has a petza or a nega, so the Eibishter said, "Oh, I didn't say you have to run with a petza and a nega to Mount Sinai hospital. I only said that you have to have b'leveinim." So now that you're having a hard time understanding the Kal V'chomer and you're having a hard time believing Hilchas, so shoin.
So you'll get better.
So you don't have to get bad to begin with.
Okay.
You're ready. That's it.
Then
Huh?
Shenyaitze the Galus.
Shenyoy to the Golos. So the Rebbe said, but there are Jews that don't know this Maimer. So if Mashiach is only going to suffer because he's sitting in the base medrash and he's not understanding the Liban Hilchas, but he's not connecting with that Jew whose Nebuch Taka has Pitzoyim and he has pus, Kipshute V'Gashmis. So the Eibishter gemacht that Mashiach Poshet suffers begashmias, and he has pus.
Will he not get healed though? I don't know when it's the right time. Will he not get healed? Or
I
not?
don't know. It's a good
He doesn't
question.
want to take the chance.
He doesn't want to take the chance how long it'll take, so he does one thing at a time. So the Rebbe said a story, behemshach to this, the Rebbe said a story, the Rebbe said twice the story. I'm emphasizing the Rebbe said it twice, and you understand in a minute. The Rebbe said that there was a doctor, and he was not Stam a doctor, he was a world renowned in what he was doing. The Rebbe doesn't describe exactly what he was, but he was a world renowned doctor, and he was treating the Frierdiker Rebbe. Frierdiker Rebbe was Seif Yomov, recently I heard, in America. And the Besuf Yom of his talking was terrible. You could come. Lately, my wife, someone sent an audio, and it's like you hear 2-3 minutes. You can come. You can't understand what he's saying. You can't understand what the Frierdiker Rebbe is saying.
It is true.
Well, so the doctor said, I don't understand. You're gifted, because the Frierdiker Rebbe really was a gifted communicator. Mamash was a gifted communicator. Sai Betchilas Nasiusoi in for the 7 years of Siddur Nefesh in Russia. Brotik didn't matter if Siddur. It was a manic cloud. And how could it be that the Eibishter should punish you that your dibur?
He said punish the Rebbe?
Yeah. So the Rebbe said that I knew the doctor. He was a good man. He didn't mean to do any bad. To hear the Rebbe's pshat. The doctor knew that he can't heal him. He had no way to heal the Frierdiker Rebbe. So he thought, he was a Yid and he was a Maimon, and when he's going to say to the Frierdiker Rebbe such a thing, it's going to agitate the Frierdiker Rebbe so much that the Yid has now a gam in his amuna that he's going to he's going to be mispalo, that it's going to change. He couldn't do anything medically, so that's what he did. But the Eibishter wanted. He said, "How does it make sense for a doctor to say such a thing to a patient? To say, why did the Rebbe Shalom want to shoot that?" They don't talk that way, right? It's not good bedside. It's not called. It's not good bedside manners. So the Rebbe said, "I knew the doctor. He was a really nice person. He didn't mean to hurt the Frierdiker Rebbe. It really bothered him that a tzaddik should have such."
To be able to talk.
So he thought to himself, he's going to say such a thing, and it's going to bother the Frierdiker Rebbe. He'll be bespal for himself, and he'll be healed. Well, the Paul, the Rebbe said, the Eibishter wanted differently. And just like by Moshe Rabbeinu, the Eibishter wanted Moshe Rabbeinu to be a kvad peh, kvad loshen. So the Eibishter wanted to be that way. But still, the Eibishter said, the Aaron Achicha Yineviecha, that there's going to be a Talmidim, like but in the case of Moshe Rabbeinu, will be Aaron, and Aaron will speak for you.
So the Rebbe actually,
He wasn't no longer a fat pet after Har Sinai, correct?
That's a good question. The Mefarshim deal with that. It's a good question. There's an Ramban that says, there's a beautiful Ramban, and where it is, Rabbi Talansky will find it for us. That if the Eibishter wanted Moshe Rabbeinu to be a kvad peh, because if he was like a top-notch orator and he could speak very well, the world will forever say that he sold him a boat and 3 times the Brooklyn Bridge.
He's a smooth talker.
Yeah. Now that he was a kvad peh and a kvad loshen. Yeah, I thought it was a Ramban. So then anyway, the shaila is why? So the Rebbe said that the reason why the Eibishter made it is because mechanisch wissen, that's the Eibishter's kasha. But Lepoil, the Eibishter made it because that a tzaddik has to, sometimes it has to be just like the Mashiach,
so the Rebbe said it by himself, but he just said it on the Frierdiker Rebbe because before the stroke, and the Rebbe saying it, and do you understand why now?
The Rebbe said it
just
3
before
weeks,
the stroke.
mamish,
And nobody caught. After the stroke, now we know what the Rebbe said about the Frierdiker Rebbe. He said about himself, but it took him a long time to
the
understand.
Rebbe said it mamish a month before.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. The Rebbe told the story twice. Once he told it in Tavshin Lamed, and once he told it in the middle of Shvat, Tavshin Nun Beis. which is 6 weeks. I'm sorry, not that. 6 weeks
Supposed to give a
before.
warning by I did everything I could. I give it to you.
Yeah, but this is 6 weeks. This is 6 weeks before. So what was the end that Rebbe said? Elamai has to be Aron Nochichi Yen Nevi'echa. The Talmidim have to be the mouth. Eibishter made it because Tzaddikim is Imer Nechel B'Tzorah. Rayid has to know.
We are the hand of the Rebbe now. We are the feet of the
So-
Rebbe, of the mouth.
And anyway, that was in Tov Shin Beis. But Tov Shin Lamed, the Rebbe said the lesson that we learn is that just like Eibishter had a time against Moshe Rabbeinu, that Mazet Meshlak Tayid with the hand, not from the Shlogim with the hand. That it's an unbelievable lesson.
That's Milchama.
That when we see that another Yid is Betzara, but Avshlogen are going with the hands. If you don't know, it's like me and you will say, oh, we're gonna jump into the Hatzalah truck and we're criminals by doing that. You have to be trained. We're gonna jump into the Shmir truck and you're a criminal. You have no idea what you're doing. Okay, Zok Tehillim. But the ikid is that the emes is to feel the matz of Iman Echel B'Tzorah is to feel the matz of another Yid. What you do is another thing. But to feel the matz of another Yid, that's the mile of Mashiach Tzidkenu, is that he feels the matz of another Yid. That's the lesson that we learn, that we have to feel the matz from another Yid. Stay Beshallach from Yud Shvat, we take the lesson, we should feel the matz of another Yid. And at kedekach, and adaf shlogen noch agoy with the hand, Zlom Shlogen, the Eibishal Hofen, that the Eibishter really, we need Hashem Yelochem Lachem now, Atem Tacharishim. We need the Eibishter, so good Shlogen, the Goy with the hand, and with the fist, and as a potter from the Goy, Bevias Mashiach Tzidkenu.
Amen. Shabbos, somebody told me that there was a group of teachers in Air Force, how to build the plane. So finally they put them on a plane and it says, okay, we're taking a flight. This is the plane that all the students built. You're good teachers. So all of a sudden, everybody ran out from the plane. But one teacher was still sitting over there. So they said, why are you sitting over there? So why all of them ran out? I said, because we know our students. They said, why are you sitting? Everybody know. I said, I'm sure the plane not going to take off.
You sure the plane will take off?
Not gonna take off. On the 6-day war, it says that the students said to the teachers, we teach us how to take off. How are we going to learn? You never teach us. They said, the Israeli will teach you.
World Trade Center, those Arabs only learned how to take off, not how to
Right.
I didn't hit a brick fire. With there's
Father says Rabbi Krinsky was walking down the street. He saw a Bachram surrounded the neighbors, roughing him up a little. Walked by it. When he walks by, everybody straightens up. He does well. He was harassing a Yiddish lady. Take him in the alley and hack him to baby. And I'm on the street.
Joking.
Over the summer, he had an opportunity to fabricate with himself. He
had unbelievable brachas from the Rebbe. Unbelievable. The Rebbe spoke about his hands even. The Rebbe told he packed it. The Yadayim, if like Shlogen going was
20 capital times.
he had brachas from the Rebbe. Unbelievable. He had kiruvim. Because it was like Shlogen the Schwarzes Yadayim. So it was really bad back then in the 80s.
Sat down next to him. He says, if you saw it, I'm going to get in between that. Said, stay out of it.
Took such good care of me.
Not embarrassed. Embarrassed.